And I ended up telling my parents, I was like, I'm going to go to Arizona for 3 days and then I'll come back, without telling them my plan. And I ended up staying there. So I ended up essentially running away, and I didn't see them for like a year after that.
When they told me no, I just showed up at the office and said, I'm here to interview, and then just stayed until I got the job.
Whenever I was in high school, it was like, I felt like I didn't fit in. I never enjoyed sales. Like I never actually liked it. But what I fell in love with was really marketing. That idea of everybody else thinking like, oh, he's so young. Like there's no way. Like that fueled me. I realized this very early on. Good salespeople, or even like mid salespeople, the mistake that they make is they.
What's up, bro?
Hey, Nick, what's up, dude?
Good to finally connect.
You too. Same
I've
here.
just been watching you throttle sales objections for the last 1 month.
Matt told me you messaged him and you were asking if I was one of his disciples as well.
Yeah, bro, because I could tell, like, I was like, gotta be from the NEPQ line.
There's a certain style that it comes with.
It is. And I mean, Ryder, not I guess everyone loves his style, but I've always loved it. It's great.
I think it's more, I think a big issue a lot of people have is when they sell, it doesn't sound like them. And so then people can kind of feel that, like it feels like bullshit. But with Matt, it's like, he'll say whatever he wants. He does not care if he offends you. Like it is what it is. And it's just like a lot more fun.
Curious, actually, your story. So you learned from, and I've heard stories about Ryder teaching, it's Yash, right?
Yeah.
Heard stories from the 7th level team of just how good he got at a very young age. And some of his like legendary kind of closing moments. So what was it for you? He inspired you, and you got
it almost became like a grooming train in a way where Matt taught everything and Yash was his like disciple number one. And then there was a point where I was in high ticket and like I was okay, but I wasn't like amazing, right? Like I was out collecting everybody else, but it wasn't like great or anything. And I go to an event. So Yash randomly calls me because one of my buddies gave me his number to sell me a ticket to an event. And he calls me out of the blue and he sells me a ticket. He literally just assumed, he was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be $2,000. Like I'll send you the link right now and just like go through with it really, really quick. And I was like,
in the close. Yeah.
I was like, cool. Let's do it then. So then I ended up going to that event and I became good friends with Yash there because we had very similar mentalities. And that was an event where it was all 40, 50-year-olds. He's a 18-year-old kid at the time. I was 16. And so I was like, well, this is the only person I can relate to. And so we became good buddies there. And then after like a month was when I was about to end that school year. It was my junior year. And Yash shoots me a message like a month before school ends. And he goes, hey, dude, like you should come work here. I'll mentor you, like come under my team basically. And I was like, I'm down. Let's do it.
Yeah,
he was like,
the fact he had a team already is crazy.
Yeah. It was Kevin Pham. And if you've seen John Mao, like John, I was at that event when John started working with Yash there, but from the day he had $60 in his bank account, Yash mentored him to his highest monthly commission and all that. But it was a funny story because then after that, Yash was like, yeah, but the only caveat is you have to move to Arizona in a week. I was like, oh shit, I'm 16. I have parents. Like, I can't do this. And so what ended up happening is I looked for loopholes for an entire week of how can I drop out of high school? Because in Texas, it's illegal. You can't drop out.
I didn't know that.
One loophole, which is where you can register to an online school that's national, like all around. And I ended up telling my parents, I was like, I'm going to go to Arizona for 3 days and then I'll come back, without telling them my plan. And I ended up staying there. So I ended up essentially running away and I didn't see them for like a year after that. And as soon as I got to Arizona, then I call the school and I go, hey guys, I live in Arizona now. And now I can drop out. And so then I dropped out there. Whoa. And then I spent a year there with Yash at 7th. And then obviously became the number one rep, ended up out collecting that team. And then we ended up running the entire company from a revenue perspective. But that was kind of the story.
That's a great story. There's only a few of you high school dropout folks in this space. Comes to mind, Caleb Maddox and Ryan O'Donnell, I met in Phoenix maybe 10 years ago when they were like that similar age, 15, 16. And I was like, who is this 16-year-old with who's just like 10,000 customers in his training kid entrepreneurs or whatever his offer was at the time, just super kid. And I always think
it's so interesting because I think young people, like our minds are so malleable to a degree where sometimes you don't even realize the impact of what you're doing. Like when I dropped out and I ran away and I did all these things, in my mind, in that moment, it didn't even feel like a crazy thing to do. Like it didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm running. No, it was like, like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
doing this. Like, shit, I
Yeah,
left.
no, it's a
Really what it felt
legit.
like.
My parents, I don't know what that would have looked up with my parents. I dropped out of college graduate school because I found entrepreneurship just a little bit later. Even
Yeah.
then, I had a cool down period, like it was like a gun.
Yeah.
So my counselor told me this makes no sense. I was 2 or 3 months from graduating with a bachelor and a master's. She was like, "No, come back in 2 days and I'll let you." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. Like I'm gonna do nothing for 2 days. I'm not going to class." And then I just went and did it, and then it was fine.
That's
But
hilarious.
it's a
It was so
different
similar
stigma.
for me because both of my parents as well, they both have PhDs and they're professors at a university.
Uh,
And so that was like a culture shock, like what the hell are you doing moment? And
yeah,
that was scary. That was rough.
yeah, bro. The VSL writes itself if you want one there. If you want to cause a massive commotion of people dropping out of high school.
You
So
know, I made a tracker. I made a tally in my notebook of how many people we get to drop out of high school or college from
heck
Impact
yeah.
Team. And I think it's already been like 13 or 14 or something. Just from people
What?
here. I don't promote it. I don't think it's necessarily the best idea for everybody, but
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I do similar stuff like that. It's just like cool. That means they saw like something in them that was like you and you were the one that inspired them. So to me,
yeah.
I didn't feel trapped like in high school. I don't know if you were like searching for more or you were just happy and you're like, yeah, whatever, I'm just gonna do this. But to me, I was like, I wasn't even thinking about anything other than college when I was 18, trying to get into like Ivy League and stuff until I was got 28 on my ACT. And I was like, okay, probably not going to make this happen without a bomb essay.
Yeah.
So from there, I just, eventually got there. But I'm curious, was there like a trigger moment or like you went to a Tony Robbins seminar with your cousin and he told you something and then you left?
Actually, Josh introduced me to Tony Robbins and I ended up going that same year. But
Dang, look at that
thing
setup.
yeah, the original thing that kind of caused it, I was always very competitive. So like even from a young age, I was always like, I like whatever I do, I don't care what I do, like whether it's chess or soccer or whatever, but I just need to be the best at it. And I always felt, I think it's interesting from a psychological perspective, whenever I was in high school, it was like, I felt like I didn't fit in. And I think when you feel like you don't fit in, by natural, the assumption is like, oh, it's because I'm worse. Like something's wrong with me. Which most of the time it's actually the opposite. Because it's like, oh, you actually want to fucking do something with your life? Well, you're fucking weird. And it's like, that's usually kind of how it goes. When
Right.
usually also means that you're also the person who's going to be the most successful and do all these other things. And so that initial kind of obsession or competition became soccer for me. And so like I was playing 4 or 5 hours a day, which actually taught me a lot of the principles now that even like I use in business, sales and all that. And then I ended up going semi-pro for a month. But then in that month, I ended up breaking my ulna and my radius in my arm and twisting it 180 degrees backwards and bent it. And I was like, this is a sign from God. Soccer is not made for me. And then that's when I ended up finding business because it was like, I needed an outlet for my competitiveness. And that's what it became.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
So psychologically, you come in somewhere around here for me, right around a 3 of to feel valuable, always pushing yourself to be the best. Yeah. Want desire to achieve. Sad you didn't fit in. Competitive, Michael Jordan type, threes. But yeah,
What
dude,
is
I,
that?
I love that. What's up? That's
What
any
is that?
as a framework. You want to see a even nerdier version that should resonate?
That's the shit that I do all day. So yes, absolutely.
Cool. Yeah, yeah, right. You're gonna love it. You're gonna be too powerful with this knowledge, to be honest, bro. Print this out, and you're gonna like. To me, I already know. Right. I was like, cool. To be too competitive. At your worst, are you a sloth? Like in just self development? Like when you let off, it's like either I'm going at your neck, or like I'm gonna be ultra competitive, or like I'm stagnant, and you hate being stagnant. And your definition of happiness is probably progress instead of some sort of pleasure.
Yeah.
Right. So like to me, that's one of like the ways that I go deeper with people with copy because I was never a great writer. I can write, but like people around me were like writers, and writing a ton more. But I was like, cool, this is an area I'm already interested. And to me, it's not chess. Like you said, you played chess growing
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
That's funny. I brought that up. Makes sense though. Because I was like, yeah, it's kind of like he's playing like speed chess or at least time chess on some of these handles. He's like, I got to get to the next call. I did 30-minute slots instead of 45. So
Yeah.
I gotta be sharp here. For me, where I was in chess club too, but I always hated playing with people when it was timed. I'm like, cool, just slower. Let me ask some questions. Let me, okay, that opening, I do this, and I have to think through it in all the different ways. So that's kind of the difference in cognition and why I just usually admire like people like you are a writer. Writers kind of more just effortless, but I'm sure it was very rigored and disciplined in the beginning.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back to you guys. So like being super competitive, being around an org that's honestly like Jeremy and Matt, both their styles super, super innovative, I think, in our space as far as touching areas of sales acumen that people don't think to train around, especially
Yeah.
around tonality and the ability to pair tonality with the actual tracks. So what was it about like that? I guess I was gonna call it a brotherhood. That sounds way too not true, but a competitive environment where you guys are looked at as industry leaders, and then for you guys to be young on top of that, probably ending up on calls with 40-year-olds. I imagine you got good pretty quick because people
Yeah.
were
Yeah. It was interesting because I had to learn very at the beginning, like I got my teeth kicked in at the very beginning. But I think kind of like what you said, like being able to speak with people who were way older than me and having to learn like how to convey authority through that and like learn very, very quickly. That made it kind of a thing where it almost became, and I don't know if that has to do with part of the personality thing. I need like an enemy to be at my best. I need like an enemy. I need opposition, something to be against, because like that's when I can just work and not think about anything else. And so that idea of everybody else thinking like, oh, he's so young, like there's no way, like that fueled me. And especially I remember there was one specific time, I won't say his name, at seventh, where I was the number one rep already. And somebody asked on a training call with Yosh, they asked a question of like, oh, should I do this or should I do that? And Yosh was like doing some random thing, whatever. And so I answered. And he was like, oh, I'll wait for Yosh. I was like, okay, you do you. And I remembered that moment for the next like 3 months until I ended up in 1 month. I 5X that dude's cash collection. And then it's still my screensaver to this day. Actually, I forgot to change it. It's still my screensaver to this day because then he messaged me and he was like, dude, like, are you using like fucking like wall hacks? Like, how are you collecting so much cash? And then that was like a moment for me. So
we're gonna have to share our desktops. I'll show you too, my version of that. I'm different type. Like for me, I'm not actually super competitive. I just like to be on the best team and just like destroy everyone. I'm like, okay, try again. Just like not even close. Sorry. So to me, I'm just like, I'll get competitive if like it gets kind of like close in an area I care about. But if you're like, hey, let's go to pickleball, I'm usually not super competitive and I'm like, don't really care. Like I'm here for fun. So to me, yeah, I don't know what that kind of competition is involved. I think it's more so probably rooted in the pursuit of like mastery of like, oh, you're trying to master this. I'm trying to, let's see who can go harder, that sort of thing. And I respect the craft of it. So whether you get there by competition or like an enemy, to me, I much more find like the internal thing. Cause me, I'm pretty lazy if someone's like, you got to beat them, I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I'm doing my own thing. But if I can make it fun and I try to add a flair of fun and just kind of absurdity to kind of what I do, just to keep it interesting for me, that's so if you ever see me do anything just randomly unhinged, it's usually me trying to like spark some passion again so I can get through a tough day.
I love that. Yeah. It's really interesting because I saw the thing that resonated the most with me, or like when I really took it to the next level, like work ethic wise, that I think it like hit me at a deeper level. I watched The Last Dance, the show. It's basically just about Michael Jordan.
The Last Dance is one of my favorite docs. Yeah, exactly. I'm from Illinois and a Bulls fan, so I'm just like, go.
And they mentioned it once. So then I watched the Hall of Fame speech from Michael Jordan. And it's really, if you watch it, it sounds from an outside perspective, if you don't understand it, like he's just like complaining about all these little things that happened and random ideas. And that fueled me because I was like, that's literally me. Like I'll make shit up that didn't even happen in my own head to give me more drive. Like, oh, this happened.
Let's go. Like, I can't wait for like tomorrow when you post on Twitter or something like, I can't believe Nick Fisher disrespected me for being young. That guy said I'd never amount to anything. No, what I will say is that compounding is the most powerful lever in the universe. And if you get into this world young, and I was lucky to be like 23, 24 when I got there, so still relatively young, and I slid right into a director role. Because I have not competitive, but I have probably some sort of like trigger to being rejected. So when they told me no, I just showed up to the office and said, I'm here to interview, and then just stayed until I got the job. So
I love that.
To me, that's like my version of it is like, no, I can do this. And they didn't tell me young, they said experience. They're like, look, I think kid, like, I like that. I like spirit, and you seem talented, but there's 30 people more qualified than you that applied. And I was like, I'm like, that doesn't matter to me. Like,
Yeah.
are they better? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I keep stuff. The one that I'll show you right here is the most recent one. I just found this like 2 years ago, and I don't even care. But I caught this on a video I did in 2016 with Sam Evans. And Sam was a bit more experienced on camera than me. He
Mhm.
made me do content for the first time with him because I was employee one there. And he's like, let's shoot content. You interview me. And I was like, we had no content strategy on YouTube. I was like, what do I say? He's like, just ask me things you're interested in knowing. I go, okay. So that was the first video we did. And some people liked it, but I was like, cool, grabbing that.
Yeah.
Can't say the same about this guy though. So I'm like, all right, let's go. And then the other one is an actual one that just like roots me because it's easy. I started to get jaded in my career. You probably won't. I feel like you have a better like spirit about you, but at a certain point I was like, man, like I was doing a lot of ads just people in Lamborghinis, and it was compliant back then. It wasn't like you could
Yeah.
get
Now you got
shut down for just crazy stuff. So I
yeah.
was like, man, do I have to just put Lamborghini? Is that what everyone wants to see? And this dude, clever investor. I don't know if I've shared this publicly. Guys, this might be, I don't want to out this guy. Let me see if his name is on here. And his
Pop
family.
them up on
This means
Google.
a lot to me, and I keep it to kind of ground. But basically, long story short, you don't have to read all that. But he got on his news feed, and he said even like this dumb ad with the Lambo. Basically, he was doom scrolling, looking at pictures of his kids before he was going to kill himself. And that just gave him enough of an up or a motivation to where he turned it around, messaged me. And I was like, dang, that's when I learned. I'm like, okay, every word matters, every frame matters, every image matters that I put out there. At this
Yeah.
point, like ads that I've written, millions of people have opted in for like to a funnel and changed the course of their life. And then probably hundreds of millions have just like been touched by an impression and either had a bad taste or a good taste in their
Yeah.
mouth about what they're. And I'm like, try not to lead with so much fear to where a passerby it makes their day even worse. Is kind of my philosophy towards ads.
Yeah.
It is kind of tempting to do the whole fear mongering stuff sometimes, but I try to usually challenge myself with hook writing and
Yeah.
just like images so that people don't kill themselves, I guess.
No, I love that because even so that's a great reason to do it.
Yeah.
Even for me, and I'm very open, like I was very public about this. I never enjoyed sales. Like I never actually liked it. I just kind of forced myself to get really good and just do it over and over and over again until I kind of mastered it to a degree. But what I fell in love with was really marketing. Like that's where like even while I was at 7, that's when I started falling in love with this. Like all the pre-call sequences, indoctrination sequences, I wrote a lot of the VSLs, I wrote like all that stuff. And it was because of that. It was because I realized you can have a much larger scale impact with that by itself than just by like individual one-to-one sales. Even with like impact team, that was kind of like the whole foundation of it. Is like, great, I'll obsess over marketing. You also do sales. Austin will be the CMO as well and help me out. And then like, we'll just push it really hard.
Dude, that is the right way to go. Like, I wish I would have been forced to do more sales calls. My first boss, Cody Sperber, he told me before I would could spend a penny of his money. So I told him, I was like, I've only spent $100 a day ever on Facebook ads, like with my clients. I was like 23. I had garbage clients. He was like, cool, you're gonna call leads out of, basically they were mailers. They were real estate leads. He's like, and you can't do it until you like get one under contract. So I had to call leads. It took me about 20, I remember. And I just remember being like, wow, I'm sure I would get better at this, but like 19 no's for like one yes, like on cold, this isn't very fun at all. I hope I don't have to do this every day. So yeah, like I guess the muscle memory and powering through the grit that it builds, I think is super cool. And I've watched people like Pace. It makes a lot of sense in hindsight that he has continued to grow a real estate info business in a world where most people have this like 2-year peak and can't either fame gets in the way, they like the lifestyle gets in the way, the money gets in the way, or just they don't stay current and they start teaching and get too far away. A lot of things happen. But Pace was a Mormon missionary in Korea for 2 years. And I was like, bro, I should have known. If you would have told me that you tried to sell Jesus in a different language to like people who didn't speak English for 2 years, I would have been like, yeah, like we'll ride together forever.
Yeah,
Then no
that
one's gonna
builds
stop.
something. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that builds
No,
something.
I think that's even I was at a dinner with a VC the other day, and he told me he was like a lot of the largest tech companies, they have headquarters in Salt Lake City. And he was like, it's because all the Mormons are there. And so they go door to door trying to convince people on a religion that have nobody, it's worse than door to door. It's like door to door.
It's worse than door to door. It kind of makes me uncomfortable thinking about doing that. Like,
Yeah,
I've
no,
got over that, but like I wouldn't want to go do that tonight.
yeah, exactly. And so he was like, those people end up being like the best like tech sales people, and then they all get recruited to those big companies and they end up crushing it. Because it's like you could do that all day and take all those no's. It's like anything else is easy.
Do 100%. So that's lesson learned. I don't know if anyone specifically started a Mormon skewed sales training program, but that would be interesting. You would attract only those people.
That'll be a new division of Impact Team only for Mormons.
Yeah, if you go on a 2-year missionary, I guarantee you a $2,000 draw SDR job when you come back. You decide to do that. I'll do
a sales rep placement company only for Mormons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll convert to be the guru of that offer. I'll be like, guys, it's me. I was unfortunately born in Illinois, not in Utah, but every time I go home, I just something's there.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, like that, and probably a few other patterns. But I've had that same theory. A lot of boiler rooms there. It's hard to teach grit, and especially like probably do you want kids?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, like you're well off at a young age, like your kids will just naturally probably have less opportunities to display grit unless you put them in scenarios. So I'm always cognizant about that with my kids. I'm like, cool, I don't want them to be soft, but I don't also want to like make their life hard for no reason. So I'm taking a middle ground, but it'll be interesting.
How do you go about that? I'm curious.
Dude, I'm figuring it out. Like parenting to me is like another challenge that I was really bad at. I felt like at first, because I was like, dang, all right, this does not play to my strengths. Especially when they're in an infant baby stage and there's no like feedback loops, which I'm big on. To me, I'm like, I'm not getting any feedback loops from this.
What are KPIs? What do I do?
I can't optimize without feedback. So to me, now that they're getting older, like I had just like a wonderful conversation with my 7-year-old daughter last night, just asking me like certain like why questions of why that. And I love to explain things, of why, or just be like, you know what, that's a really great question. I've never thought about that. We could like look into that. So to me, it's cool. We get to learn together, and she teaches me things and has certain qualities. So I've really grown to like fatherhood. But originally, both me and my wife were like, and we were just neutral on kids. Both of us were. She was an entrepreneur before I was. She's a wedding photographer, like super skilled, talented, and yeah, like we were in New York when we had her, so we were in a studio apartment, and it briefly felt like our lives were going to be over until you figure it out. So to me, I'm like, I think that it's just another, not selfishly like a tool for self-development at all, but it teaches you some things that you just like have never seen, or like areas that you can grow in life. Shows you different kind of love, shows you patience. There's a lot of good that comes out of it, to be honest, in addition to it keeps getting more fun. So yeah, that's my only thoughts as of now, other than I think everyone's different. And yeah,
that's one of the things I think I look forward to the most is being a dad. Like I think that's going to be very, very important to me.
Dude, if you're already looking forward to it, then you're going to find it really rewarding, because it's super hard too. Like various seasons, I'm sure, like I haven't got to teenager, like if they're psychopaths at that stage or going through a lot, that'll be a different challenge. I probably won't know how to like emotionally handle or calm them down, even though I want to. So we'll figure that out together too.
Do you have many kids, or just that?
Just two, and we're done as of now. Although Russell Brunson told me not to get a vasectomy, so I've held off. Shout out to Russell.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, well, he told me there's signs that like there could be some, and other people had said that before to me too. And then I booked like 4 appointments to go get one and kept canceling them and reading the reviews. So if you do decide that you go down that route, just don't read urology reviews, all of them. I've learned that no one leaves a positive review, because why would you? You only leave one if something goes horribly wrong.
It's wrong, and it's really bad. That's the highest stakes thing you can mess up.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So now that's the only thing in my head. So don't do that. It's probably fine. Most of them are, have worked for my friends, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not worried about like loss of testosterone and my ability to close people or anything like that. Like some people are. I don't think it'll affect your close rate, although you can find out.
Yeah. That's interesting.
But dude, where do you want to head from here? Because like I said, and great meeting you. Like I love meeting just people that have not only figured out what they want, because that's cool, and then go after it. But I imagine that you're still, even though like I'm starting to see your content and you're obviously very skilled at what you're doing, you said marketing too. Is there like a bigger vision that no one knows about?
I think my goal, two things. Well, number one, I want to make Impact like the largest B2C sales training company in the world in terms of like number of clients and everything else. That's like number one. And that I think we're, well, the first goal to kind of get there is have the biggest group out of anybody. And we're pretty good on the track to get there.
So I love that. So why is largest best? Like, or why is largest win to you?
For me, it's very much an impact business. Cool. Like I think from day one, and this is a piece of advice I got from one of my original mentors, and they told me they were like, a big mistake people make is if they're seeking fulfillment is they'll try to start a business and then they'll try coming up with a mission after it. And it's like, there's no really point. And so he was like, come up with a mission first and then start the business. And the mission that was always in the back of my head was like making sales education accessible to the youth for free. That was always from the very beginning. And so it was like, okay, well, how can I monetize off of that? And then it was like, well, if I have the low ticket and I get a bunch of people in the low ticket, train them up, place them on offers, then we can funnel them into a high ticket that's 25 grand, everything else. And then it has to see that natural progression. Obviously, Matt's like the CEO and he's doing a lot of coaching in there and all that stuff. Yeah. Which is cool. But I think that's why the size is like the thing for me.
Dude, that's super. That's cool. And I asked for a specific reason because sometimes largest to other people means strategic, of like, I want to have an army of like, mini me's that I can, deploy at this business or whatever, that are all trained in my methodology, and I need a lot of them. But to me, impact, it makes the sense. Like that's the best reason to do large, because you don't need to be the largest sales community in order to have like great people.
And we've also had those conversations because we were like, there's obviously a trade-off where, especially in this industry and all the previous companies that have done it, all the ones in the sales training space that have scaled up revenue, then their P&Ls tank, their profit goes to shit. It's like a massive mess. Yeah. So I think there's a balance there, but that's why even if I have to sacrifice a little bit of income or like profit in order to be able to grow it and like grow the impact of it, I'm personally fine with that.
Yeah, I love that. And I like those are usually my partners that like I partner with, probably why I like you right off the bat, because I'm just like, yo, that's crazy. Like I'm like, that if you have the largest sales community, that you're probably like famous enough where you're getting stopped at the airport or whatnot, like that. Yeah, whatnot. And I'm like, that's actually the sacrifice of impact that I find is there. Some people enjoy that and then that becomes a benefit, but for me, and I think a lot of them, it becomes kind of a trap.
I agree. I even like, because I went to the Tony Robbins event, I think it was like 3-4 weeks ago, something like that. And that was the first time in person, besides like here and there, that I actually got like recognized in person. And I don't like it at all. Like it is the most, I don't know, people walk up to you, which maybe
which one did you not go? Which one did you go to?
It was, I went to Business Mastery, but that was UPW. Okay. That was UPW.
Okay. UPW.
Yeah. But people walk up to you. I don't know like what they're thinking. They'll just be like, "Oh, you're the guy from Instagram, right?" I'm like, "Yeah," and they just stand there and they don't talk. Like they don't say anything. They just stand there, and it's like, okay.
Yes, cool. I confirm that statement. Anything else?
Yeah, that is me.
Did that? Yeah, like that. That's cool. That means like it's the vanity follower account that's like created this. I mean, that's the multiplier of a personal brand. Like the first one is just like, it's why people buy followers. But then they realize that it's a shortcut to eventually getting poor engagement over time. But you I'm guessing you didn't.
Zero.
I didn't check before this, but usually I do with my.
No, we were looking on me, Matt, and Yosh. We were actually checking out, I forget what the website's called, the one that checks like the health score of accounts.
Yeah, there's a few. I'll do both of ours right now and see.
Yeah.
Who has more fake
it's viral blade, I think.
Interesting. I always like to know more tools, because we vet like influencers now, like, for our job. In the beginning, I didn't have the luxury, so we just reached out and I was like, whatever, you got 2,000. If they're all fake, that's fine. You're not in their database, but yeah, I use this little free tool called Wednesday app. You get 10 free, and then I have a bigger one later. But mine's like 95% real, and I never bought fake followers, so I got some bots. I don't know how to got there, but yeah.
I think long term it's a stupid thing to do to buy followers. It's like you just let you screw yourself over.
Yo, Andres is going for the largest sales community and most impact of anyone in sales, and I think you're going to do it, bro. Like, time is on your side, so it's just a matter if you quit or not. Like, this is crazy. Is that reviews already?
Yeah, those are real reviews from WAP.
Dang, I swore I joined. Watch me get my card declined live.
Oh no, you already joined. You already did join.
Okay, sweet. I thought I did.
If you join, if you click top right, it says open impact team, then I'll open it.
That's right. I'm just screen sharing and you're in the way here. 6. So this is impact team. This is you and Yash, or just you?
Me and Yash and Matt and us.
Oh, Ryder's in here too?
Yeah, he's our CEO.
Dude, I just figured you guys were doing like a catch up. Like I saw the content 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he joined the company, I think a month ago, about 3 weeks ago.
All right, sweet. So here, and then join the Discord group. I'm gonna do that first. Good call. So you actually do Discord for community and don't use WAP for the com, but just the LMS?
Yes. The reason why is just like as WAP obviously becomes more mainstream, then it'll be different. But even if you look at like the top left, it says 12 are active on the WAP.
Yeah.
But at any given time, there's about like 13 to 1,500 active on the Discord.
It makes sense. Like at least I remember when I first met WAP and the team, I was like, oh, this is like it's kind of like a skin on a nice Discord server is kind of how it felt like at first. And then they told me they were all sneaker bot flippers, and I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. I just never I missed that era where I'm like, we have one of our communities on Discord, and I usually always hate going there. I just wasn't a gamer either, so I never spent much time. So people, but I will for you. You know what? I already got our biggest community over here. So
now we're working with a dev as well to build out like a bespoke app inside the WAP as well to try and make it more active. So
right. And I mean that's up to you. Like my own advice is build where your community wants to be and wants to hang out. So if this like you have the next wave of salespeople and they all like to be on Discord, so be it. You can always migrate them later.
Yeah.
Yo, all right, cool. I'll do this later, but shout out. You guys should all go join this. If you don't, then you're missing out on another trick in the bag, at least, if not 5 or 6. Yeah, well, we'll see if it's true. I'll know in 30 days once I go through. But dude, for your style in general, it is a little bit different than riders. I did notice like some rider things, but binds especially, like you were really good at binds or just knowing how to do setups. Yeah. And the way you ask questions too, and the reframes, it's like you already know. So I'm curious, like in your head, when you hear something, is there like a cycle of things that you're trying to identify? And you're like, okay, is it this?
Absolutely, yeah. The biggest thing that I always think about, and I realized this very early on, good salespeople, or even like mid salespeople, the mistake that they make is they try and handle every single objection that's being thrown at them. And the issue with that is the prospect is going to know the objections they're going to give you better than you know. So now you're always chasing, like you're in their world. And so they can do whatever they want. They can manipulate it. They can change however they want. But if you get them to agree to a concept and put them into your world, now you're in control. So for example, like people always see the one where it's like, yeah, that makes sense to me because like what you're seeking is like certainty, right? Like you'll actually get the result. You'll do this, you'll do that. Now it does not matter what objection they gave me. If I say that, now the objection is now a lack of certainty. So I just converted it. And now I have 10 reframes lined up for certainty. So now they're in my world. They have fucking 0. So I'm going to win every single time. So I think that's kind of the benefit. And that's why I think it does seem a little bit like you were saying earlier, like that game of chess. It's because I know exactly where I'm taking them. It's going to end up in the exact same place every single time without fail.
Interesting. Yeah. So like to me, that's Endgame. I bet you're pretty good at Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the best analogy. I never thought of that. Chess is actually a really good analogy for objection handling. Well,
thank you, Drew. If I can just go on and give someone one insight they didn't know about themselves, that makes me happy. And I'm like, cool, I got to help someone in a weird little way. So yeah, for me, I'm just always looking for the metaphor, I guess, of just like, what is this style? I've seen this style. Where is it? And I'm like, nowhere, chess. So like Queen's Gambit, like when I watched that, I was like, it's a bit of that. I'm sensationalized. I'm like, that was crazy, but it makes chess look really fun. But like I said, yeah, I'm a slow player. I'm like, cool, just gonna do the typical. I'm gonna castle the rook, right away. Just high probability. See how the game plays out.
Yeah. No, fair enough. I always did gambits when I played chess. I was always high stakes. It's everything I did.
Interesting. So you're like going right for you're like, cool, can I catch him off guard?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
do the only one that I did that was defensive was the Sicilian opening, but then everything else I was pretty.
Dude, I need to start at some point we'll play.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Chess.com. We'll run it.
Dude, if you ever play some sales reps for Sigma Society for Sam or whatnot, Bilzerian likes to play chess and like he was super passionate about it. And also, I just want the shot with Richard Branson on the chessboard too before he ends up dying or retiring from whatever he's doing on his island. Just the amount of friends that
he plays a
yeah,
lot.
like I don't know. He's just always playing chess with someone new. And I've had some friends that like have the privilege to fly out there and do a mastermind or whatever he's doing on Necker. And
Yeah.
it seems like he's just down to play chess with people he doesn't know. And I was like, that'd be cool. I would love that.
Yeah, very cool experience. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, it's either that or if I talk to Magnus Carlsen, shout out someone tagged Magnus Carlsen, we'll do a chess course and you could staff the whole sales team. We'll just
if we
sell
get Magnus
12,000. Yeah, 12K, 16K packages on how to be the next superstar.
Of course.
But dude, what's like top of mind for you today? Like now back down to micro. You want to obviously, be Jordan and build the 96 Bulls. But right now where you're at, is there like trying to keep focused, trying to do content, anything working that's worth noting?
I think right now, one massive shift that's about to happen is, especially with a lot more people using WAP, like I noticed, because we spent 20 grand on like a developer to start building out a software, and that all went down the drain. Because I thought about it and I realized, and I was like, well, WAP, the rate of development that they're going to have is going to be way higher than anything we can keep up with. Because they're spending hundreds of thousands a month, if not $1 million a month, on straight just development.
Yes.
And so we abandoned that project completely. And now we're building apps like bespoke apps within WAP to like gamify the entire system and everything. Because like if I can get it to be more active inside of WAP and have people day to day, like I win because more consumption.
Dude, if you don't have it up, let me know. I would love to see. Hunter told me about that like a month and a half ago, and I forgot about it. But I was like vibe coding with a different tool, and I was like, bro, if I could build apps within WAP, you're saying I'm smart enough to do that, like standalones, then I'm in. And now we're here, and it's crazy, kind of what the year looked like. So
I'll show you. Well, once it comes out, I'll show you. I think it should be done by Tuesday or Wednesday. But I think that'll be a massive change because then in there, it's going to have like a point system, streaks. They can spend on rewards specifically where they can, I don't know, use points to get the coaching caller for like different content or merch or stuff like that. So I think it'll gamify, especially given that my audience is very, very young. They're mainly, I'd say, 16 to 21. That's kind of the age group where, and this is actually an interesting point. I think the education kind of industry, high ticket, it hasn't adapted very well in the sense of like, you can't expect a 17 or 18-year-old kid who has no attention span, nothing, to go into Lightspeed or like I don't know, any of these other hosting platforms and just watch 20 hours of videos. Without any reason to keep them engaged. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, we've fried people's brains.
Yeah, literally. It's like at the beginning, I couldn't even do it. Like I had to like develop the stamina to be able to do that over a period of time. And so I think gamifying and to this degree where they actually get real rewards and it's more like an actual video game, but like a productive one. I think that'll be a massive shift that I think will happen in high ticket.
That's a really good, honestly, insight for me to keep top of mind. Thank you, because obviously that makes sense. Kids are still it's like kids don't have attention span these days. I'm like, okay, but they're playing 24 hours straight on, Roblox or whatever. I'm like, it seems like they like that.
Exactly.
Algorithms are like either really good or yours sucks, and there's like a huge gap with development. So that's a really good point. Is I'm gonna have to think about that. I like social being my life. I have a little bit of more awareness on. I have at least some knowledge on like how the TikTok algo works versus Facebook versus Google and all these. And I'm like, okay, TikTok was the first one where I was like, this is a problem. This one is addictive. Like, I didn't even want to swipe up there. Like, and normally I'm in control. So
I never made an account or anything because I was like, I know that's just gonna fry me. Like I will not be able to get off of it. So I have an addictive personality. I was like, there's no way.
Me too. But do you want the reframe? A download or enable the screen time app and then just treat it like cool and then compare it with your friends. Be like, hey, I bet I'm not as addicted to TikTok as you. And I'm like, no, this week I've only been on TikTok. Damn. 2 hours, that's actually pretty bad. That's yeah, it's up 28% week over week. So I need to get off. And then yeah, but to me, that's I need to be there a little bit. And that's the danger is like cool hooky algorithms where you want to understand it for content and then you're doom scrolling yourself. And then you're not
it's a very fine balance because even a lot of people they'll ask me like, oh, Andres, how do you come up with these like creative content ideas? Because obviously we grew pretty quickly. And it was literally by having like I had to scroll, I had to like know what was in the know in the moment of different videos and things happening on social media and all that stuff. But I also can't get addicted because then I'm screwed. And so like I had to develop a way where I would have my notebook and then I would spend a certain amount of time on each video and write ideas and like different conceptualized stuff and all that. But dude, that's very real.
Live streaming might be the antidote too, because if you go live, better that you catch flow. It's harder, but you get that same sort of effect and you're stuck in creation mode. Yeah. Which to me wasn't why I'm doing it. I think again, it's just like a modded skill and a way to compete that some people just can't or don't want to do, or they're too scared to do. And to me, it feels easier than planned content. So I was like, I'll take the perceived harder route. That looks more fun and possibly will make me more money. Because to me, I'm like, yeah, like if like I don't even know how honestly streaming works on every platform. I've done it on a few different ones now. It's just like test runs. Did an X stream, did one where I was on Zoom and I downloaded some software and it just simulcasted everywhere and I had no idea what was going on all of them. Yeah. So it's definitely interesting because I don't like the idea of like I can't see the chat and I'm simulcasting. So I probably won't, try to do that. I'll try to like focus on a channel wherever you're at. What you can do. If you tell me MySpace or whatever, I'm like, cool. Wherever kids are these days, of course, I'll go there. So to me, that and live events, AI can't take away from us, at least in the next year, hopefully. Or else robotics get crazy good, which that would be insane. We got bigger problems. So live streaming from a digital front should keep me from that. And then live events is just like hard. And I'm watching Pace do a 100-city like student tour. And what I would say to you is if you want the largest student community, there's a reason, again, another kind of biblical reference. There's a reason why it worked for Jesus, why it's probably going to work for Pace. Jesus did a 3-year student meetup tour with 12 disciples that basically turned it into a referral program. So like the
high ticket.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, if that led to, it being the dominant religion in the whole entire world from 3 years of him grinding, I'm like, maybe that's what Pace is going to achieve here. It'll be good. So we'll see.
That's very valid reasoning. Yeah, no, that's actually a really good idea. Cause we were going to do it on that scale, but we did something similar. Like we went to LA and then we ended up just having a bunch of people over and did a bunch of content. And then we're going to do it again in Paris. So we're going to do that in a bunch of little cities, but
dude, honestly, like
that's good insight.
He started small. He started doing it at small scale 5 years ago. I just something was wrong with him because he didn't even have a course yet. And he was doing like little meetups of like 5 people, or someone would ask him to ride along with him in a property, just like one student kind of, but didn't want to give money. And he'd be like, come in my car and we'll go door knock. And I was like, whoa. Okay. I was like, that's crazy. So he always had that. And now it's like more strategic and planned. But at first it was just more natural. So if you're already feeling that like natural, it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2 people. It's like the idea of meeting people in person. And I'm like, cool, you have the means to do it. Some people don't have the financial means to do that, which means you have Moat. Some people don't have the energy or stamina to do it, which is Moat. And then people are going to think we're all fake and like me and you will be live streaming our AI avatars together this time next year. So that's why I'm more focused on those two, because I don't want to die. I kind of want to live like in this game forever, as long as we can, as long as we give value.
Yeah, no, that's a good insight. The in person, I never thought about it that way.
Well, cool. Yeah, like I don't know for sure. I guess no one knows where AI is going to go, but I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure though.
It makes sense. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, AI can't ruin live events yet.
Yeah, that'll be a while. Or Tony Robbins is going under if it does.
Right. Like, yeah, and I don't know what he's up to now, but he was early on the AI clone thing. Like the first person I learned was trying to AI clone himself was Tony. That was like 5 years ago. He had like the early beta tech. And like I know that's, you probably know now from having seen him, I could sense like he has a sense of like I was like, it's not fame with him. He feels like a duty to like extend his legacy because of like all the lives he's changed.
Yeah.
Like I saw him tear up when someone thanked him for like the sacrifice he had to make in order to like do this much in his career. And I was like, oh, okay. So he does have feelings in
It's
there.
really interesting though, because I was even and that literally convinced me because he I'm not saying that's what he was doing there, but he can literally tear up on command.
Yeah, he probably can. You're right.
Whenever he wants, he can tear up. Like, because I've gone to 3 different events with him now, and like he'll snap from laughing like heart of joy to sobbing in like 10 seconds. I was like, what the hell? But it hits everybody so deep. Like it's crazy the effect it has in the room.
I'll send you this clip after. I've only spent like one full day with him when he was teaching like top affiliates in the room. And I thought we were getting 1 hour with him, and he turned it into an 8 hour like date with destiny. Like,
Oh yeah.
it was the most intense, like physical draining like of my life. Just his presence staring at me at a like close proximity. Like you feel like you just have to be locked in the whole
Yeah.
time. So but there was at one point he talked about he uses why that happens occasionally. He uses what do you call it? Alter egos, but multiple. He says he has like 8 that he can snap and switch into. So to me, you'll have to let me know if it feels like genuine. To me, I was like, it did feel genuine, but yeah, I see him do that. But I wonder if he's like snapping himself out of it just so he can get somewhere else and avoid the feelings. Either way, I don't really care, I guess. I was like, I have a newfound respect for him after seeing him for this long. But
Yeah.
UPW, I've never been. I know that's like kind of the entry like event, right? Where you do the calls.
Yeah, it was all right. I went to Date with Destiny, was the first one I went to. So that
Oh,
was
dang,
like an
dude.
in-depth
You went
version.
right to the most intense
Yeah, exactly.
one.
Yeah, because Yosh, he was like, "Oh, you have to come," and I was like, I didn't know. I thought Tony Robbins was like gonna be like a Sam Ovens speaking on stage kind of thing.
Oh, dude,
That
okay.
was
You
very wrong.
hadn't seen the documentary.
Yeah,
I'd at least seen that, I guess. So
I was completely off. And then I go there, and as soon as I walk into the room, I was like, yeah, this is very different. I loved it though.
dang,
I thought it was really cool.
dude. Yeah, in 6 days, right? It's crazy. So do need to see that before he doesn't do them. I know he probably doesn't have many years left where you can do
Yeah.
that. So
He already, even Day with Destiny, a big part of it was like recordings of videos of him doing it earlier in his life for like other speakers. Because obviously he has the issue with like his vocal cords
oh,
right now.
that's cool. I would buy that as an info product of just like the best moments of Tony Robbins' Date with Destiny over 40
The
years.
way he runs his events is like, it's insanely good. Like it's so, he was really only on stage, I would say in those 6 days, probably 20 hours or so, which I guess is still like a decent amount. Like he was on
Still a good
stage.
amount
Yeah,
for
that's still a lot. But like
yeah.
he was on stage 20 hours for 6 days, but the entire event, the whole time, it never felt like, oh, Tony isn't here. Like the entire time, it felt like you were in it.
Yeah,
Very
which
well.
I'll have to experience that, but I imagine it's just like, have you seen the doc, the one on Netflix? I'm not
I saw it
revealing.
after. I saw
Okay,
it
cool.
after.
You
Yeah.
saw it after. Yeah, when I saw the behind the scenes, I was like, oh, he's like jumping on the trampoline. He's thinking about the interventions ahead of
Yeah.
time. He's still very much like, I need this to be great, and we're gonna make it
Yeah, for
as
sure.
good as it can be.
That's
So,
really what, because I was always very interested in like acting or like learning like body language and tone and all that. And seeing him do like the intentional like tears and like how he's able to move the audience with like his body language and his tone and all that literally convinced me. And then I started looking for an acting coach literally after that. And then I have no joke. And I have my first lesson on Monday, not even joking, with Larry Moss. He was Leonardo
shout out
DiCaprio
to Larry Moss.
with Larry Moss.
Dang, is Larry Moss specialized in like a certain type of acting?
He was, so I was thinking about like based on the roles of kind of, I guess, who I am. Like I wanted to find somebody who coached people in a who did a role similar to my personality. He was Leonardo DiCaprio's like one-on-one acting coach during Wolf Wall Street and all that.
Man.
And so he's like very good at that kind of role, I would say. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
You're doing stuff that only Sam Ovens has done too. Like Sam Ovens, when we were working together, he had the mindset coach of the Arsenal soccer team working with him. And I was like, bro, what are those sessions like? Can I come? Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out. Like you might as well access the best and the
Yeah.
people that train the best for sure. So yeah, dude. I guess by the time if we do a live stream, you'll have done that session. If you come in with a freaking, Oscar award, I'll know why.
I'll start crying as soon as I get on it. You'll see the tears.
Yeah, just give me some game of just give me a little scare. What I always tell people is like good marketing, good hooks, bring people from I'm like point to an emotion I try to make them feel it with writing. So if someone's like, cool, how do you make someone feel stressed? I'm like, it's 8:01 and you missed the test, right? Or something like that. I'm just like, your mom called over and over again. Your mom called, it's an emergency, she's dead. Now you get that, by proximity. So to me, I'm like, how do you pull them from here to the other side? And that's the fun game. How do you take them to the complete opposite side by the end of the ad?
Did you make that?
No, I just printed this out. I didn't know what I wanted. I Googled feeling wheel. So I knew I wanted a wheel. And I knew I wanted the colors to be inverse of just like positive emotion versus negative. And some, God bless the soul who did this one. Most just like categorize it just as random categories. I'm like, no, like I want the inverse feeling on each side. So to me, it's super useful.
That's super.
And I think about it with VSLs. Like I could probably pinpoint, let me guess actually for you. Actually give me one question between, as far as when you're in your worst headspace, or someone puts you, do you feel fear, anxiety, shame, pride more, or guilt?
I would say anxiety.
Anxiety. Okay, cool. So anxiety typically here, it's usually rooted in fear, not always. So to me, like if I had to just really quickly work with someone, I'm like, cool. So let's label that anxiety. Would you kind of say like at worst it feels like you're vulnerable or you're scared or insecure, or is it just like straight up anxiety? I'm doing a bad job.
I think it's just straight up like anxiety.
Okay. So if it's straight up anxiety, when you kind of loop in that, do you get more concerned or do you feel like worried about like your actual health? Do you feel like more PTSD or do you feel like social anxiety?
I would say I loop in it.
Loop in it. Okay. And in order to get out of it, what are you trying to feel? What do you want to feel instead of that anxious feeling? Calm?
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Interesting. Okay. So to me, let's explore that more. I've never heard that you want to feel gratitude. That's very wise of you, which isn't a feeling to me. Gratitude is not a feeling,
You
but
don't think it's a feeling?
no, I don't. You're the first person who said that, but it makes sense. The feeling that gratitude gives, I feel like is the feeling. Gratitude
I
to
guess
me
maybe the feeling would be like complete.
okay, cool, complete. Yeah, and gratitude, right, is a tool for that
Yeah.
because gratitude's like a positive coping mechanism to me, and it's like a learned behavior of just like, okay, no, I'm grateful, right? I'm choosing to see. You're fixing the poop.
Yeah. I had
So
that. Yeah, that was very intentional.
interesting. So grateful. So do you want to feel at best? Do you want to feel appreciated and thanked for your contributions for like what the impact that you had in people's life?
I don't think it's that. I think
Okay.
it's almost like a gratitude.
Dude, this one's tough. I usually get it by now. A gratitude rooted in, it's not calmness, a gratitude rooted in like easing the anxiety, which is calm. It's not rooted
It's
in,
usually I think what breaks it for me is a gratitude in almost myself of like I'm good. I've done this. Like I'm fine.
achievement.
Like I
Gratitude.
have enough. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
achievement.
Okay.
Yeah, I think yeah, achievement.
I've achieved enough. I don't need to achieve anymore. I don't, yeah, like at best, gratitude helps you resist the urge to be competitive until the like utmost degree, like competitive till it's self-destructive, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's
But
actually really I think that's actually really spot on. It's like whenever the
cool.
competitiveness gets too much to where then it's like self-destructive, then
Mhm.
gratitude lets me bring it down a notch to where like I can accept and push at the same time.
Dude, that's super cool. And like that's the reason why I do it is because it's a fun game and a challenge. But to me, then like I actually now like truly understand you and probably like how you're belonging. I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's why. And to me, like early in my life, I just wasn't really in tune and I didn't practice a lot of this stuff. I'm like, why are you feeling that? Like that's, like
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand why you're angry. I don't understand why you're because I don't play in those spectrums of color, but like you're roughly in the yellow spectrum for me. So anytime I like quick want to write an ad, I'm like, sweet. Andres is going to be world class at bringing people who are hopeless. They feel fatigued, tired, miserable, despaired, heartbroken, devastated, discouraged, disappointed, and you're going to pull them to the other side and make them feel delighted, glad, pleased, elated, thrilled, enthusiastic again, passionate about what they do, like appreciated.
Interesting.
So and they're finally going to fit in with a group of people where they never felt like they'd fit in their whole entire life, something like that, right? So that would be you know,
Very spot on.
creed.
It's like extremely spot on.
Uh-huh. Well, cool, man. Sweet. So like, but that's to be said, if you want largest, yeah, you know, yellow will be like the thing that's, you know, you were put on this earth to do. But like Tony too, when he does all the 8 split personalities, I'm like, Tony is like all the way around the wheel. He can do anything.
Yeah.
He just created these characters. Where I think he called one of them Toaster in the video. I'll send it to you. I'm like, oh, like Toaster's this one. Like he, like, he created all these because he wants to help every single person. I was like, that's crazy. He probably wants to like have you know, 10 trillion people like helped, like full world impact.
What do you think his main one is though? Because I feel like he has to have like a source and then it has to like spread out.
Dude, if I ever get the pleasure of interviewing him, like I'm definitely diving deep on that because I was like, I've heard of the alter ego thing, you know, of just, you know, superheroes, alter egos, you switch into one, but I was like, dang, 8? I was like, that's next level. That's smart.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just gonna take the whole Avengers, actually. Not just one.
I am the wheel.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, that's the feeling wheel. There's other fun games you can play with this sucker, but to me, if a first line of something, writing, visual doesn't move you, or you can't like place an emotion. So normally I'm like, it's a bad hook. And someone's like, no, that's a good one. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I love it. I'm like, I'm like, everyone here, what emotion did you feel when you read that? And if it's either in the middle or like you can't place it or everyone's pointing somewhere different, I'm like, is that what you were intending to do? So I'm like, it's just scattered. It's like, it's a bit diluted. Let's try harder. We want everyone to point like in the relative same direction. It's just like, yeah, right. Let's go WAP because you are one of the first, you're probably maybe the biggest creator who's really using the LMS on WAP that I've talked to. And I know there's a lot of people, but we like, I'm Team WAP. We use them for finance payments. I love everything about like the features they built in. I'm curious, like which besides like the LMS features, is there anything that you really love other than just like the way it organizes content? Like what's your favorite thing about the product?
One thing I've learned from them, their culture as a company, like anybody you speak to from WAP is phenomenal. It's truly like super helping, like oriented, call them at 10 p.m. They don't give a shit like that. Like, which probably I shouldn't be calling them at 10 p.m. But regardless, they're very
I think they're good at 10 p.m. They're up later.
Yeah. But their culture is phenomenal, number one. But then number two, I would say seeing the mistake I made with that software we were building out was misjudging the technological moat that I was trying to create and realizing like, great, I'm trying to build this whole thing with the gamification and all that when I could have just allowed them to build it for me, which is a natural progression that's going to happen. I would say the most interesting part about WAP for me is the apps, the app feature, and like how that's going to build out. Because it is insane. Like even if you think about like an upsell, like a consumption perspective, right?
Yes.
The free group, we're building an onboarding app right now, which I've never actually said this publicly. We're building an onboarding app right now where it's going to have steps where like it doesn't let them access any of it until they go through all the steps. But then like the third step, for example,
you can integrate it within the content. I didn't even know that of how this.
And then the third step is and then the third step is get a 3-day free trial of the VIP, for example. So then like if we have 30,000 members in there, 31,000, whatever, if all those people went through and they all saw the 3-day free trial, get 8 coaching calls a week and all this other stuff like that, that's thousands of ascensions just from that alone.
And dude, that cool. Thank you for telling me that because that's what I was hoping for. And they were just first mover on it. They saw it quick. Like I saw standalone you know, versions of that, but I'm like, that's not super useful. I still have to port it over to my like software or integrate it, and that's a pain. I want to do that. But the fact that like Kajabi like had the resource to do this school, like no one wanted to go down that. And to me, that's like a really cool way for people who have the funnel that they've always wanted to build. Like for me, I'm just like building stuff poorly that I'm like, oh, whoa, this is possible now in like 5 minutes. Cool.
And especially because even like I've always been very oriented around like I naturally attract to people who are young and very hungry, even if they're not necessarily the best at what they do now. Like 2 of our sales reps, for example, they're like, one of them, he was a kid who was 16 years old in Brazil, dead broke, nothing. And I started training him 2 hours a day in accent and everything else. And he did 50K in commission like a year later in a month, selling marketing. And now he works at Impact. But like there's another guy, a developer that I met a couple of days ago. And I was like, I know for a fact, I need a full-time developer on staff to be building out these apps constantly and like features and all this kind of stuff. And so literally I just ordered a new MacBook yesterday and I'm shipping him this one that I'm on right now to him so he can code faster. And he's joining the team full time. And he's like, dude, I'll do 16 hours a day. Anything you need, just let me know. We're building it out. Like, we're going to make it happen.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
Gotta get him. You get him the M2 or M4.
Yeah. I was like, let's do it, dude.
Let's go. You're right. Like the processing speed and whatnot is a huge advantage in speed. Like you can play that game. Dude, like if I'm gonna spend more time in there, like I'll if anyone else is feeling left out and you don't have like room for them, I need someone like that too. Just to sit here in my office and be like, yo, take this to fruition. I'm on 5 Zoom calls today. So that would be great.
One benefit I had as well, I think I was very fortunate to a degree that my parents, when I was younger, they wanted me to experiment with a lot of different things. So they taught me a little bit of like coding and stuff. So I understand like basics of kind of how it works and APIs and gateways and endpoints and all that stuff. So I was looking at all the functionality WAP has, even if some of the apps aren't built now, if you understand what data points you can get from the API, then you know what could theoretically be built. And so like, for example, they have check markers for whenever somebody completes a lesson or what percentage they go through, or there's quizzes that you can add. There's memberships you can detect. How many times do they scroll off the page, for example, whenever they're in the course? And that can give you a prediction of like, how long are they going to retain? And then you can take all these different endpoints, for example, all these different data points, and then you can build all these super interesting apps that I'm like obsessed with of like, how do I increase my retention and my ascension? That's like an obsession for me.
Cool. Well, if that's an obsession for you, that's when I went to WAP last year and met him for the first time, I was there till like 11 p.m. We were going deep on the community and retention. And that's why only like Sam and school and WAP really, really care about optimizing for student outcome. Like actually, a lot of people say that, but I'm like, where are the features that would suggest that you even remotely care about that? Yeah, like you have no analytics or features at all for like my students. I can't even tell if they're watching the videos. So like watching the videos, I have a whole deck I'll send you too of just my top insights I've learned from going deep there. But for us, like the biggest thing that I cracked 10 years ago consulting that it was hard was the retention of MRR is one thing. That's a different strategy. But if you're looking for retention of trying to get them to outcome fast, and then either ascend or get them to refer, and then loop both of those together, that is more of a challenge of like, how does that all work? So we experimented with a lot of like, cool, can we do free trial, credit card up front, free trial, no credit card, 3-day rebill, then they have to refer. Like I tried pretty much just everything I could. So I'll send you those. And our goal,
that'd be super helpful.
Yeah, like our goal, especially with Pace, me and Pace are optimizing for, can someone get an ROI or can someone say they were successful or like have that, I'm never leaving this community on day one. That's the long-term goal. And right now we're under 30 days on average where we can get them to that aha. And like we're bringing students into our office. We're saying stuff like, if you haven't done a deal before and you want to do one in 30 days, we allocate now 120 to 200 spots in this office for what we call like no one left behind. So they come out and Pace promises them by the end of the week that they will have partnered with them on a deal. It's like a ton of paperwork. And if 150 of them are there and they do like, 6 deals, it's a lot of people splitting the profits, but it gives them that first check, right? If it's not a clear ROI, depends on how many. We don't like stage it. So the worst we've ever done is 1 deal closed, but it like kills this belief of like how fast it can be. And if they even see other people around them do 1 deal, they're like, oh shoot, like all of us are, like it's
amazing. That's really cool.
So I'm super proud of it. It's like, it's by far the most innovative thing in retention and community marketing that I think anyone's done, or audacious. And like it was today, we just 1 week of the month and now we just have students, and it's a follow-up or attachment funnel that the sales team can use to kind of push people over the line to and follow up. So it's like, hey, like I know still hesitant or whatever it is, what if I like, we could guarantee that you'll do a deal with Pace by the end of the week. Can't guarantee how much it is or how much you'll make, but like you'll at least be on a check with some amount on it. And
that's amazing. I love that.
We come in, you could probably find your own spin on it. Like the secret of it going well is coming in with leads, and ideally ones that are at least pre-vetted to some degree. So we're like, cool, you guys go through the training and at least bring your own leads, and then Pace and the other student leaders will attempt to close them on stage. Yeah. So that's the
I already
format.
thought of a way that we could do that actually.
Yeah. So like, yeah, whatever your version of that is, but there is an activation point where you'll find, and normally it took us a while to figure out, okay, we had this hypothesis of another good one is as soon as someone like logs in, you notice I was trying to go right to Discord. My instinct is to go in and introduce myself because that's every course I design. I know that's activation. If I can just get them to buy, immediately introduce themselves and someone in the community responds to them, activated.
That's crazy because I was thinking about that for the VIP. So I custom coded an AI thing that automatically sits in the chat and it detects whenever somebody introduces themselves. And the first point that everything funnels to is you have to introduce yourself because it automatically sends them a folder that has all the scripts, game plans, trackers, and everything.
Ooh.
So they have to introduce.
Perfect. So
it's like a 95% rate of them actually going in and introducing themselves. It's automated.
Thank you for giving me a tip there too. I've never thought about incentivizing them to intro. Because we do welcome calls with everyone. So I just tell the agents, just be like, don't get off the phone with them until be like, are you in the Facebook group? I just want to make sure for us or in the Discord server, whatever it is. I know it's a tech, and then like stay there. Should be a minute long call, but if they can't get in, a lot of people can't. Just stay there with them. It's very important they get introduced and they get greeted. But that one, dude, I'm curious what you would have here then. I'm actually going to show you the deck. You're going to one up me here and have some better ideas. What I found though is the inverse is true. If you get them to introduce themselves and no one comments or replies, more likely to ask for a refund in the next 30 days. So they feel like, oh shoot, no one.
I have me and Yasha's EA on my account, and she goes in every time they message, and then she personally responds, and she knows a lot about me, so she'll say like, oh yeah, I've been before too, or like whatever. But it was I didn't think it would work out. Like I knew it would work, but it's like a 95% of people who come in like introduce themselves, completely automated, and it's only $97. Very low.
Oh dang. Okay, so that's super interesting too, because I was doing it in the manual. Like I'll come back and explain this. That's not as important, but yes, I force the intro. So like now we're at 12 hours on average for sub 2, our biggest brand. We try to like 1 hour is the goal. I know it's probably not realistic in the middle of the night, some people, but yeah, this is the gold standard. Like me and Sam started with, he made me, I hated doing this at the time. He made me, we turned off like all the marketing.
Yeah.
And I had rev share. Shout out to Sam if you ever see this. So I was like, bro, I just moved to New York. We did this deal and then we turned off ads and now like we're not making money. And he's like, yes, we're going to work on product only for 3 months. And I did like over 800 student interviews, and he worked on like creating a freaking dope course that people still talk about. So like, that's why he was like, no, it's going to be a distraction, like keeping marketing on. We're going to care about it. So let's take it off. So we started with 3,000 reviews on launch day. And then I like felt invincible. I'm like, cool. So then I'm force introing everyone. And usually like people are buying a future of themselves, right? So like if I can future paste them immediately on intro, it's like, yo, usually around like the niche or their location. Hey, Guru, I'm an admin and consulting, saw his story and thought of you. Here's the link. If you watch it, I want them to see themselves and be like, okay, that could be me too. This is another example in real estate. What market? Geolocal. Oh, do you know him? He was this. Now he's blah, blah, blah. He was like you. Now he's successful. And to me, the more that you can do that, you can only copycat by line if you can't actually drive results. So to me, it's like, again, super moat if you can pull it off, and it shows true community. And you're linking people with like a mentor. And then psychology, usually expectation set is, hey guys, because this can be annoying if you don't tell star students that they're getting newbies, but everyone from the beginning, we would tell, hey, what's going to happen is you're scared right now and you don't think this is going to work. You didn't say that, but that's probably what you're thinking. Like you probably believed us last night. Now it's today. And what's going to happen is you're going to forget even that when you're successful, and you're going to look back and not help anyone in this community. So it's very important to us that when you get the result, you pull like the person back up that was you. So we say it from like day one, you are going to be successful. And when you are, I'm asking a favor from you that you're going to help out and connect with these newbies, because you'll know what it feels like to be lost. So trying to preempt it, I don't know if that's the right move or not. But from a sales psychology standpoint, it seemed to work for that. And I've used it ever since.
One thing you could do as well, was that manual? All the messaging and everything?
This was manual until we hired a community manager, but normally like in the beginning days, especially on astro flipping, that was me now leaving consulting.com with like no resources. So this was me. You can see I actually sent that until we could hire someone. Yep.
One thing that could be really interesting, because right now they introduce themselves in the chat and it has a very high rate of them actually doing it. You can hook up an AI to a knowledge base in the back end that has all the testimonials and all the results and everything, and you can give it a structure of a message, and then it could auto send, and it would be like almost word for word like that, but for each person, and it could do that in the main chat with everybody else who's in there as well. That way, everybody sees.
Dude, I'm jealous because I have seen I helped Seventh like earlier this year, and Disco did that for me the first time. I don't even have it, but Discord has like the Delphi integration, and you probably know of a bunch of other things. WAP could probably build that too. That's where I want to get to, is just like a safety net just in case, because to me it's like it's better if it's an actual human connect, but I also don't want people to feel like, hey, I bought this thing and I don't actually have any support. So to me, I'm like, yeah, auto connect the people. As long as they connect, that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Like, hey, this guy was once like you. He also was a stupid college dropout, that couldn't get his shit together.
Didn't know which fucking channels to go to.
Right. Yeah, just starts roasting people. Yeah, like that could be fun. The AI connection bot. Yeah, I imagine
that it's gonna get extremely good very, very soon, to where like you won't even tell. I think it'll probably be a year, you won't even be able to tell the difference, I think.
Well, that's the thing too. If you're going after largest, then you're going to have the most pairing options. So you'll have eventually like the highest, most optimal pairing probably available to you at any given time, which will be cool. But yeah, we didn't take the pure impact approach. I'll cut it off here, and then, dude, I would love to keep jamming. I already learned something too, and that was my secret ulterior motive for starting this is, hey, can I just catch up with people? And then I was like, I'll call it a podcast, and then maybe I'll post it, and then I'll get content from it too. So yeah, I'll send you when it's edited, and you can improve on it. But good getting to know you, man. So yeah, dude. Well, thanks for catching up. That's gonna be super helpful. Appreciate it in advance.
100%.
And yeah, I'll see you in Discord maybe if I can get
100%.